Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In last week's technical analysis, I was sort of talking about how Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin were all approaching this next upwards phase of these cycles, okay? And I was hoping to see some strength, and sure enough, we got that. So we're hovering around sort of 2,400 at the time, and we got a big move up, sort of a bit over $200, and now we're rolling over a bit. But the important thing was we broke this downtrend line. We're still sitting above this long-term uptrend line, and we want to start to form higher lows, okay? So this chart's been a lot stronger than what I initially sort of suspected this was going to play out as, and I think that just shows there's a lot of power and a lot of momentum building, and the money on the sidelines and the hard fork issues and a bit of confusion, okay? I think that's just going to build momentum, and this thing's going to take off again to the upside once that's resolved. But I just want to sort of show a longer term perspective from where this all started, when we launched off around the 1200 mark. Sorry, I'll just grab that fib tool again. So 1200 mark up to the all-time high, so around 3000, and we're hovering around some really important levels here. So 23.6%, and if we did get a breakdown, I think this is going to provide initial support here around 2300. And I've spoken about if this big head and shoulders pattern pays out, from that headline to that neckline would get us down around this sort of 1900 mark if we got a really nasty scenario with the hard fork over the next few weeks. And I think that'd be a really great long-term buying opportunity. Okay, so that's the sort of levels I'm looking at the moment. Now, Ethereum's been a bit more volatile and certainly not as strong, and this downtrend lines remain intact, and we haven't broken through that. And again, I had two cycle brackets pushing up last weekend, and I was hoping for some strength, and we did get a move from around 250 all the way up to around 290, but that rolled over really quickly with one green candle, and we soon broke those lows. And you guys know that in cycle bracket theory, once you broke the initial low, this is called a left-hand translation, and this says that there's going to be weakness continue for the entire length of this bracket, okay, for another couple of weeks. And I think there could be a few fundamentals throwing off these chart patterns that have been just perfect of late. But if we have seen a lot of those ICOs that have raised Ethereum selling, even if it's only a small percentage of those to lock in some fiat profits, okay, this could be throwing the charts off a little bit, but we've got to trade what we see. And if this breaks down out of this wedge, I think we could get a waterfall down to $200. And I've got my buy orders set at around $206 there. And again, I just want to give you guys some long-term perspective. It's hard to sort of believe that only a few months ago we were trading around $50, and if we go up to the all-time high there around 417, again, some really long-term support here. 50% retracements tend to provide great support if this is a long-term bull market, and if we did get that waterfall breakdown and pierce down through 200 again, I'd set more buy orders at 190, and I don't think there's any way we're going to get down this low. And if we did, I guess I'd be sort of looking to back the truck up and get pretty aggressive. I think it would be really oversold. And it's probably another important thing just to mention now, for you guys that are experienced traders, these charts are just obeying the sort of stochastics and RSIs and MACDs really well, and those three tools have been my best friend, and especially if I'm looking for exits and entries on an hourly time frame, okay? And that was probably more clear than ever with Litecoin here. And again, it's just such a strong market. Higher lows been forming, long-term uptrend lines. I was talking about this cycle bracket, expecting to see some strength last Sunday when we were sitting around this sort of $37 mark, and we'd had a rough couple of weeks. But sure enough, we got an explosive move to the upside with this cycle bracket providing strength, and we're seeing a pullback now. Again, high consolidation though, and I'll show you the long-term move from where this all started from Litecoin around the $10 mark. It's obeying these fib levels really well. So a lot of guys are sort of setting their orders around $46, $45, where we saw a lot of price action around here, okay, and they're stepping in to buy these dips, and we see that on the candle wicks there. But if we go in on the hourly time frame on Litecoin, Litecoin and Ethereum have been the best two to trade by a long stretch, and we see on the hourly time frame we've broken this downtrend line, and I think we're ready to resume a strong uptrend in the coming week. But anytime we've got really oversold. Buyers are stepping in, and this is turning up here, and we just see explosive moves to the upside, big percentage moves. And if you follow your indicators, you have your levels set in your mind, you don't panic, and you let the technical analysis guide you rather than your emotions. Okay, traders are getting really rewarded, and these markets are just beautiful to trade at the moment. So finally, this is still the trade I'm liking. I did get out of it here when we'd basically gone straight up, locked in some profits. Actually, even went short Litecoin. It didn't last very long because on that hourly chart we just turned up again so strongly, and I was lucky enough to get filled at 0.018 there. And my members know the sort of technical levels I'm looking at and the long-term levels for Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. And these charts are just playing out really well. So maybe we get a couple more days to the downside with these two brackets pushing down, or we just play around here for a while. But I think we're getting ready to move higher again as we have two more brackets pushing up here. So I'll put a link below down to my members area as always. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video if you've enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.